can we incorporate the hand of leadership, ensure that we have proper investment towards ending this, of course, menace that is of TB? We'll be engaging a person who's a TB survivor, we'll be engaging medics, clinicians, we'll be engaging nutritionists as we get to that very important conversation. But as always, you know that I will be doing this with Victor Moyakani. Unfortunately, George is not with us tonight, but all the same, the show must continue. So karibu sana, let's get to this, but first we take a look at what is in the world of news.
Tonight, on the 13th day of the ongoing nationwide doctors' strike, clinicians and laboratory officers have vowed to join.
We formally give both levels of government, that is the county governments and the national government, 7 days strike notice.
They have cited the government's failure to fulfill numerous promises outlined in a collective bargaining agreement signed back in 2017. And President William Ruto has declared an end to the era of loss-making parastatals, adding that profitable entities must stop wasteful spending.
We must deal firmly and decisively with pilferage and wastage.
The government has commenced the release of bodies belonging to victims of the Shakahola forest cult to their respective families for burial.
This is TV47's daily report. It begins right away. Our sign language interpreter is none other than Rhoda Nyamai, and my name is Linda Alela. As always, it's important that you speak to us. The hashtag daily report. I'll be sampling some of your comments as we continue with the broadcast as well. 22047 is the SMS shortcode. Now, President William Ruto has expressed his commitment to reducing government spending, that is during his tenure, while issuing a strong warning to loss-making parastatals in the country. And the head of state emphasized the importance of strict financial management in his quest to save at least 300 billion shillings in the current financial year, as Micah Gungu tells us.
In yet another set of austerity measures announced by President William Ruto, state corporations could now be forced to readjust their spending, with loss-making ones facing the possibility of being shut. The president now pushing for profitable organizations to reduce unnecessary spending and return earnings to the government.
We must deal firmly and decisively with pilferage and wastage and theft and the so evident corruption.
Speaking at the State House here in Nairobi when he met chairs and CEOs of state enterprises, the head of state emphasized the negative consequences of sustained losses on the country's economy.
Those institutions that are making losses, they have no plan, they have no intention of doing anything. Please, we will shut them down. We will get the employees to go and work somewhere else. And we just stop making the losses. At least we will stop making the losses.
The president directed commercial state corporations to pay the National Treasury 80% of their income after taxes, with specific instructions on how to distribute the remaining 20%. He further said 90% of excess funds should be remitted by regulatory institutions and severe enforcement required to guarantee that everyone complied.
The commitment of the president to restore our economy calls for serious attention to the matters that will be raised here. So take this forum very seriously this early morning, and whatever will be given as a policy direction, please do go and give it your all.
Last week, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission chairperson Lynn Mengich, while speaking at a curtain-raiser event before the third National Wage Bill Conference, said the commission had identified reasons why the country's recurrent budget remains high, adding that the conference will provide solutions to ensure there is prudent use of public funds. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Protocols observed. Good morning.
Thank you, Mike, for that. Now, as the doctors' strike entered the 13th day of a nationwide strike, clinicians and laboratory officers have vowed to join the strike, accusing the government of failing to implement a raft of promises from a collective bargaining agreement that was signed in 2017. And as our reporter Chichi Josephine tells us, the 2017 CBA was signed after a 100-day strike that saw people dying from lack of medication.
The country is staring at alarming health crisis as clinicians and laboratory officers vow to join the ongoing doctors' strike.
Austerity forever.
The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers issued a 7-day strike notice, accusing the national and county governments of failing to keep their end of the bargain.
We formally give both levels of government, that is the county governments and the national government, 7-day strike notice for the following reasons. 1, failure by the government to formulate a recognition agreement with the union, despite having met the requisite of the law, even after several attempts to have this matter solved amicably. Failure by both levels of government to confirm all universal health care coverage staff, all UHC interns, COVID health emergency response program, the National TB, Lung and Disease Program.
Doctors from the South Rift region held demonstrations in Nakuru town on Tuesday, stating that they shall not return to work if their demands are not met by the government.
Today, we plan for this peaceful demonstration to also try and push the government to see the sense in the suffering that the common mwananchi is going through on issues that can be solved even a day.
The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union KMPDU Secretary General for the South Rift region, Dr. Stephen Omonde, led the demonstrations, accusing the government of failing to implement its promises from a collective bargaining agreement signed in 2017, among other demands.
The main that we are focusing on are like 5. 1 is the posting of the interns as per the CBA of 2017-2021 that we agreed. It's outlined how they need to be employed, the days they need to take, it has taken March, and what they need to be paid.
In Meru County, they cautioned governors against intimidating doctors, adding that the priority of the county bosses should be settling overdue basic salary payment and assisting doctors in advocating for increased funding from the national government to support county healthcare services.
This is only 500 doctors. Meru County needs a total of more than 2,000 doctors. I would be impressed, Mr. Speaker, mkituwekea budget kidogo, ya billion kidogo, we be able to absorb all these comrades now in our hospitals.
At the same time, Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino unveiled a team aimed to address citizen issues on Tuesday.
Thank you very much.
Speaking during a press conference, Babu cited laxity within the opposition team in Kenya, defending his reason for creating a new team, which he said aims to address the ongoing nationwide doctor strike.
I want to tell you that if you don't move with speed, we will move with speed. And this is a new team, the young blood, the fresh breath that is going to breathe breath into the dry bones of the problems facing Kenyans.
Chichi Josephine, TV 47.
Well, in the same breath, and with this case of doctors' strike across the country, it is now clear that Kenyans who are unwell continue to carry the heaviest burden. The patients who are unable to get health services are now requesting the government to intervene and iron out, of course, these issues that have been raised by the doctors.
Kenya is still teetering on the brink of a health catastrophe as doctors in public facilities continue to down their tools, demanding better working conditions, implementation of collective bargaining agreement, posting of medical interns, and medical cover. The doctor strike, which has halted health services in public hospitals, has subjected Kenyans to suffering, with many unable to get services at different public facilities in the country. In Taveta constituency, Taita Taveta County, we meet a resident Danson Warombo who has a leg injury, but due to unavailability of doctors in the hospitals, he has been forced to get medical attention from home.
Mgomo wa madaktari umetuadhiri kwa sababu niliumia. niliumia Jumamosi na niliumia Jumamosi sehemu ambayo inaitwa Sesi, na nikapelekwa hospitali, lakini sasa sikupata madaktari, hawakuwa. Sasa na huku bado navuja damu, mguu umeumia sana.
According to Danson, his condition forced him to find a private health center, but due to lack of enough funds, he had to return home where his wife had to take the responsibility of nursing him.
Mbinu ambayo nimetumia, kwa sababu nilikuwa nimeenda private, nilifanywa dressing pale, nikafungwa mguu, na nikaona nazidi kuumia hata nikienda hospitali, maana tumeambiwa madaktari hawapo. Basi nikawa najitibu nyumbani kwa sababu sina pesa ya kujitibu zaidi. Nikawa najitibu tu nyumbani, kuoshwa mguu, kufanywa dressing na bibi yangu, hivyo tu, na mpaka ukafikia mali nimefikia sasa kidogo na kanyaga.
Danson and his wife are currently urging the government through the Ministry of Health to intervene and address the grievances of doctors in order to revive the health sector.
Kwa kuambia madaktari ni warudi tu kwa kazi yao, kwa sababu bila hivyo tunazidi kuumia. Watu ambao tuko kwa kifedha tunazidi kuumia, kwa sababu kama sina hiyo pesa ningekuwa nayo angeenda pengine mahali kwingine atibiwi, lakini sasa kulingana na hiyo pesa huna pesa ya kukusaidia.
Wito wangu kwa serikali nasema kwamba wafanye hima, waongee na madaktari ili watu wengi wasije kaumia sana. Waongee na wasikize matakwa ya madaktari, watendee haki yao ili wapate kurudi. Watu wengi ambaye ni maskini hasa wataumia sana.
Nelson Mwareza, TV47.
Now, over 400 bodies exhumed from Shakahola forest in Kilifi County, and we have witnessed that lately the government says that 7 out of these bodies have been released to their families for burial. Of course, contrary to what it is that the government pathologist Johansen Odur has said, who says that 4 bodies have been released to the families. This even as the government intensifies investigations on the Shakahola massacre, where self-proclaimed preacher Paul Mackenzie alleged, of course, lured his followers to fast to death. Take a look.
In a somber yet necessary move, the government has begun the process of releasing bodies of the Shakahola massacre victims to their respective families for burial. This comes after a painstaking exhumation effort that began last year, April, following the shocking discovery of 429 bodies buried in mass graves.
We want to say that there has been effort to try and make this as humane as possible. The families were cancelled at the moment they arrived. There was a process of registration of the families, and then they were brought and they were shown their bodies. In groups they went in small groups so that they could be handled by Red Cross effectively, as some of them were very overwhelmed by seeing the bodies.
Today marks a bittersweet moment for some families, as 7 of those bodies have been handed over for burial. 4 of them have been received by one grieving family in Malindi, while 2 others have been viewed by separate families, including one in Western Kenya. The families are not able to receive the bodies of their loved ones due to logistical challenges.
Iwapo tutapewa huo mwili, vile tutausafirisha mpaka Western, itakuwa ni vigumu kidogo.
Mimi nimetoka Meru na kupeleka mwili mmoja kutoka hapa mpaka Meru ni kama 1,150. Na mimi ni mtu mwanzo sina kazi yangu ni ya uchuzi ya kuuza kahawa na baiskeli ndio huwa nauza. Hata nikapewa hiyo mili yote nikapewa ndio hii. Sina uwezo wa kusika. Kwa hivyo kama serikali hawataweza kutusaidia, mimi sina uwezo wa kusika hiyo mili, pengine niwaachie. Lakini ningeomba watusaidie, tustiri hiyo mili, tupumzike roho zetu.
Government pathologist Johansen Odur has revealed that a total of 35 mass graves were identified during the exhumation process. Of the 429 bodies recovered, only 34 have been positively identified so far. The Shakahola cult made headlines last year when its leader, Pastor Paul Mackenzie, allegedly instructed his followers to starve themselves in a misguided attempt to meet Jesus. Mackenzie was arrested on April 15, 2023 and has been in police custody ever since. Ann Odida, TV47.
Thank you, Anne, for that. Tens of people demonstrated outside Mandera Referral Hospital demanding that the county government intervenes on a matter where police officers who survived Monday's terror attack were airlifted to Nairobi, while other survivors were left in Mandera. And as Paul Kirobi now tells us, the residents at one point had to block an ambulance ferrying injured officers.
A day later, after a serious Al-Shabaab attack in Mandera, residents took to the streets along the road heading to Mandera Referral Hospital, complaining of what they term as being discriminated against by the county government. Angry residents obstructing ambulances transporting police officers injured in the Monday explosion in Mandera town. For instance, this ambulance could not manage to move due to the irate mob. Families of the blast victims hospitalized decried alleged discrimination, claiming that only 2 police officers were airlifted to Nairobi for specialized medical care, yet their loved ones were not given priority.
County commissioner angetupea ruhusa watu wetu wapelekwe. Sasa tumebaki hapa, hatuna gari ya kutupelekea wananchi wetu nini Nairobi Kenyatta, na sasa sisi hatujui mbele wala nyuma tutafanya nini.
Residents want all the victims who were injured yesterday to be transported to Nairobi's Kenyatta National Hospital to receive medical treatment.
Hapa Mandera hatuna security yoyote mwenye anaweza tusaidia, hakuna chochote. Serikali naomba tusaidie.
Watu ambao tunawaacha hapa ndani, wengine wako under critical condition na wanahitaji matibabu ya dharura.
Yes. According to police officers, the blast that happened in Mandera town, which shares the national border with Somalia, was caused by an improvised explosive device that had been planted at the hotel. 4 people, including 3 police officers, were reported dead and 11 others injured in a suspected terror attack on a small hotel located near a police station. The latest attack followed another one on Sunday in the coastal county of Lamu, where 2 police reservists were killed. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
The body of Kamkunji Police Constable David Chesire, who was swept away by Sunday's heavy downpour into the Nairobi River, remains missing. A multi-agency, that is team, embarked on an exercise on Tuesday to retrieve the body, but as of now, this body has not been found. Speaking during the search, Central OCPD Doris Kemei expressed confidence that they will retrieve his body soon. Lennox Segre with that.
A tedious search of Constable David Chesire, who was on Sunday swept away by the marauding waters at the country bus terminus, enters day 2. Monday's spirited search in this tunnel bore no fruit, with today's operation being extended deeper into the Nairobi River, combing all corners in an effort to retrieve a warrior who was swept away while saving lives. Today's operation extended from the tunnel, believed to have acted as a conduit to Nairobi River, where the officer's body is also believed to have slithered into. Meanwhile, a jungle green-colored jacket belonging to the police was seen floating in Nairobi River, raising eyebrows as to who might have thrown it there and why. TV47, however, established that it is not the exact attire worn by David Chesire on the day of the incident. Nairobi's Central OCPD Doris Kemei has expressed confidence that Chesire and his firearm will be retrieved.
Because we have all the teams that are involved, all the required resources are here. We also have a representative from the county government who has come in handy with all the resources that are required. We have professional divers. We've now gone a notch higher, searching along Nairobi River.
We've combed all the way from the source of the tragedy, and we intend to comb the source to the end of the river.
It is nearly 48 hours since Constable David Chesire was swept away by water. But the officers conducting this operation have exuded confidence that they will retrieve him. Lennox Segre, TV47, Nairobi.
Giving you more updates as and when they hit the newsroom. Now, thousands of Kenyans lose their lives annually due to the growing prevalence of antimicrobial microbial, that is resistant bacteria. The rise has been attributed to excess, of course, drug usage and high infectious diseases burden, availability of substance drugs, inadequately trained and insufficient health personnel, and poor access to diagnostics and laboratory services, that is to guide the treatment. Our health and science reporter Elizabeth Atieno delves into the recently launched report and, of course, on this aspect of resistance. Let's take a look at that.
According to the World Health Organization, antimicrobial resistance, AMR, is one of the top global public health and development threats. It is estimated that antimicrobial bacteria was directly responsible for 1.27 million global deaths. In the same year, Kenya recorded 8,500 deaths attributable to AMR. Antimicrobial resistance happens when germs like bacteria and fungi develop the ability to defeat the drugs designed to kill them.
What causes resistance? There is not a single cause. There are many causes. We should begin by saying, once you use antibiotic, resistance is inevitable.
Irrational antibiotic prescription in various health facilities has been cited as a key catalyst in antimicrobial resistance. Research surveys conducted in hospitals across the country show that there is a high prevalence of antibiotic use, ranging from 45 to 69%.
We have had challenges previously about the uncontrolled access of antimicrobials by the members of the public over the counter.
The Ministry of Health has developed a multifaceted approach to address antimicrobial resistance using 3 pillars, which include access, stewardship, research, and development. The antimicrobial stewardship, which basically means promoting the responsible use of antimicrobials, will be targeting pediatric and surgical wards.
The only way to stop AMR is to stop using antibiotics, which is also not possible because we have sick patients, we need to treat them. What we can do is minimize the resistance and delay the resistance.
The Antimicrobial Resistance Report was launched during the 2024 Microbiology Updates Conference organized by the Aga Khan University in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, with a keen focus to fill critical gaps in the surveillance of antimicrobial resistance bacteria in low and middle income countries through various initiatives such as capacity building, research, and strengthening of surveillance systems. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Liz, for that. Now, you have less than 6 days to comply to the new electronic invoice system, lest you risk forfeiting any justified refund on business expenditures until you conform. According to Hakamba Wangwe, the ATM's chief manager, so far 186,566 businesses and individuals have transitioned to the platform against an ambitious goal of 915,000. This comes a mere 5 days to the final deadline, with a mere 25% compliance rate. The registration process will continue even after the deadline, especially for new businesses where the tax collector still insists on a self-declaration to widen the tax scope. And of course, let's take a look at that.
Like this last year, only around 67,000 businesses had been onboarded onto the new tax system against 113,239 active taxpayers. A dismal number considering the praises heaped onto the new system by the Kenya Revenue Authority. The number has more than doubled this year to 186,566 registrations. Despite this improvement, the government has been keen on self-sufficiency through increased collection efforts that led the Kenya Revenue Authority to set an ambitious goal of 950,000 individuals and business entities to be onboarded on the eTIMS platform, merely 5 days to the deadline.
Now, administratively, we allowed people to complete the process of acquiring or onboarding into eTIMS, and that extension or that grace period is now what is expiring on the 31st of March.
Yes, they can onboard on 1st, they can onboard in June, but the thing with it is anyone they are doing transactions with might not be able to use that invoices for purposes of claiming expenditure in either income tax return or VAT return.
This means that more than 700,000 businesses might find themselves out of the compliance bracket by the end of the week, a move that would debilitate operations due to a lack of compliance. ETIM's chief manager, Hakamba Wangwe, says though the registration system will remain open to businesses.
What we'd like to urge taxpayers is to onboard. Yes, we have 6 days. Please onboard within these 6 days. It doesn't take very long. And then in addition to onboarding, we also are looking forward to transmission compliance so that once you onboard, then you use the solutions in the way that they have been designed to be used. And for taxpayers who might come in after due date, it's not that the system will lock them out. We are not locking out anyone. The only thing is that these taxpayers need to know that they are late in adopting the solution that is coming on board.
And in terms of the target we were working with is to onboard a total of 915,000 taxpayers. And we still hoping that people will be able to actually beat the deadline to be able to onboard.
This as the authority maintains the informal service industry will continue operating on a self-declaration basis, a move that has been faulted for the gaps presented in tax collection, leaving out a crucial margin of potential taxpayers.
And even after the deadline, people are still allowed to continue to onboard. It's not like it will be a cut-off system where you'll not be able to onboard after the 31st. The only challenge you'll have is transacting business after the 31st of March, because the people you're dealing with or the people you're transacting with will require you to actually issue compliant invoices because the grace period that had been allowed by KRA.
Hibak Said for TV47.
From that ETIM story, we still continue with matters digital transformation. And in a bid to support the digital transformation efforts in Nairobi, TechFast Gulf and Pure Storage have formed a partnership that will see the city benefiting more with the rapid growth of businesses and the increasing reliance on data-driven strategies. There is a growing demand for advanced storage solutions right here in Nairobi. Well, by joining forces, TechFast Gulf and Pure Storage aim to address the demand and provide businesses in Nairobi with high-performance, reliable and scalable storage infrastructure. This will address the challenges of modern data storage and the increasing demand for cloud-based storage.
It is a pleasure for us because it is the first time for us being here for this launch event in Kenya with TFG, our distributor and partners. So what is the added value? It is a market that today we're making sure that everything is happening. It's about technology, about the sustainability, about what is the best for the customer and for all the sectors. And when it comes to data infrastructure and data center. So today the uniqueness that we're providing, it's a differentiator that it's in the market for all the customers that we have today in Kenya.
Now, let's get sporty and preparations for the highly awaited third leg of the World Rally Championship, the WRC Safari Rally Kenya, are close to completion, setting the stage for an electrifying showdown over the Easter weekend. The event, which marks its 71st staging in the country, will be officially flagged off by President William Ruto at the Kenyatta International Convention Center on Thursday before traversing the Rift Valley, spanning several farms, ranches and conservancies around the Lake Naivasha and Lake Elementaita. Speaking on the preparations for the event, WRC Safari Rally Kenya CEO Charles Gasheru has expressed confidence in the event's preparations, highlighting the collaborative efforts of stakeholders to ensure a seamless and successful rally, while President William Ruto has made a rallying call to Kenyans, that is to attend the iconic rally, which is highly regarded as the toughest rally in the world, promises to captivate rally fans in the country and around the globe.
Well, the progress is great. Today is the 24th Sunday. The rally has officially started. I mean, the rally doesn't really start at flag off. This is where the rally starts. The teams have come, they've set up. It's a really beautiful operation to look at because you find Team Hyundai, they've come in, they've shipped in a whole tent, self-contained, air-conditioned, own generators, own catering units, mechanic units, the cars. In fact, the rally cars, if you look over there, the rally cars are still wrapped up. They haven't actually unwrapped the rally cars. Why? Because they actually use their recce cars. The recce cars come by ship, they come early.
This Easter weekend, I joined the people of Kenya to welcome top WRC Safari Rally drivers to Naivasha in the Great Rift Valley, an incomparable, beautiful destination in magical Kenya, the first home of humankind. We are honored to host the world's toughest motor rallying contest, a captivating showpiece where human ingenuity and endurance, breathtaking rugged terrain, and the epitome of automotive engineering excellence are stretched to the limit in the epic struggle that is the WRC Safari Rally. I take this opportunity to assure every participant that every measure has been taken by relevant government agencies to ensure that the Safari Rally is safe and secure. Welcome home and enjoy the Easter magic of WRC Safari Rally.
We all are looking forward to that. Now, the national football team, Harambee Stars, are the champions of the 2024 Four Nations Football Tournament after beating Zimbabwe 3-1 in the final. The Engine Firat's lads were forced to come from behind after early own goal from Joseph Okumu as Harambee Stars keepers bagged a hat-trick to hand Kenya a 3-1 victory and a trophy to brag about.
Kenya senior team habari yao amalizira pa number 2 akamapita aliyese Mendulu Nkosi.
Yes, aliyese Mendulu. Wina varako silver medal, wina gold medal.
All right, that's all we had for you. That is in relation to news. We're about to cross over to this very important conversation that is on